Now we're going to bring you today's perspective guest, and we're talking about a country where 9 out of 10 people go all day without eating. In fact, 99% of all families in Haiti go without meals, sometimes for days at a time. Now, that's according to the charity ActionAid. Some families said to be surviving there on less than $1 a month. Well, joining us now from Port-au-Prince is Angeline Annesteus, who's the country director for ActionAid in Haiti. Thank you very much for being with us on the programme. First of all, just sum up what the situation is there like for people there.
Well, thank you very much for having me. Good morning. Well, the situation in Haiti right now is very devastating, deteriorating at an alarming rate. So it is an unprecedented humanitarian crisis that is marked by escalating gang violence, political instability, and of course, the food insecurity. So the situation is particularly alarming for children and girls who are at risk of violence, forced displacement, and exploitation. So now we are talking about a very deep crisis where the population is on the brink of starvation. And yes, as we said in our survey, which was taking place in the south of Haiti, so we found out that 99% of families skipping meals, going days without food, and of course, this situation put the population, and particularly the children, at health complications and malnutrition.
Yeah, I was very interested to hear what you said there about you went outside of the capital there, because we do get some news from Port-au-Prince, but you were able to, weren't you, to talk to families who are out of Port-au-Prince, out of the capital, to find out what the situation is there.
Well, the situation is unbearable in the capital of Haiti. And of course, we have been going for months where the gangs continue to attack communities, force displacement. Today, we are talking about more than 1 million of people being displaced in the capital of Haiti. And of course, most of the population that were displaced are going in places like the South, the Grand South is where we are working right now. And what you see in Port-au-Prince, it's many people living in camps in very lack conditions of, basic access to services, sanitation, very poor conditions of living in camps, while at the same time, the gangs continue to attack many communities. Women are at risk, girls are at risk, a violence, sexual violence that are rampant in the country. And of course, they are also facing hunger daily. So what we have seen in the last report by the state and also UN agencies is that there are like more than 30,000 people living in camps that are now in the IPC5, which means that they are basically in the famine side, going days without eating in those camps in Port-au-Prince. So the situation is very, very critical right now in the capital of Haiti. And of course...
There have been some attempts, haven't there, by the international community? Let me just interrupt you. There have been some attempts by the international community to try and bring some kind of security to Haiti so that food and aid deliveries can get through. I mean, is any of that having any kind of effect in reality?
Well, it is important to say that the violence in Haiti reached horrifying levels. And ActionAid, as a humanitarian organization, our focus is on addressing the humanitarian impacts of the violence. However, let's say that it is critical that a solution to the violence or to the crisis is found. Now, yes, we have the Kenyan-led mission in Haiti, and we hope that this would, form part of the situation. However, as violence continues to get worse, the hopes that the populations have are fading. So I think the international community must work with the national leaders to help end this horrific violence in the countries, because it's destroying many lives right now. So we have too many Haitians who are walking dead. The suffering has been going for quite a very long time, and it's now unbearable for the population.
Yeah, as you said there, the Kenyan soldiers have been there, haven't they, for several months now. I mean, the UN has just launched an appeal as well, hasn't it, for $900 million to try to feed the population. Presumably, before that food comes in, though, security is needed to be able to move that food around the country and distribute it to people.
Yes, of course, security is a very basic tool to bring back the country to a normal situation, and of course to improve or facilitate access for life-saving assistance. So yes, we have this force in the country. We also have the national police, but we also have the humanitarian communities with many initiatives like, currently, we have the Access Working Group that are like working with authorities and humanitarian actors to facilitate access both to humanitarian to provide the life-saving assistance, but also for the communities to be able to access the assistance. It's not easy because currently, as we are talking, the capital of Port-au-Prince, the capital of Haiti, Port-au-Prince, is cut by sea, by roads, and by air. Right now, we basically have a humanitarian air service run by the World Food Program that is facilitating transport from Port-au-Prince to other areas in Haiti where the population is waiting for life-saving assistance. So it's a very complicated situation, but we humanitarian organizations like ActionAid, we are in the field, we are able to continue to respond. But of course, there is like a very critical situation of funding.
Just very briefly, we're running out of time, but I wanted to ask you specifically about something you mentioned earlier on in the interview about women and girls. Why is that such a particular problem?
Well, it is a particular problem for women and girls because in situation of conflict like the one that Haiti is facing right now, women and girls, they are more at risk, and it's not like that we are thinking. Like the studies shows women and girls, they are at risk of, sexual violence. For example, in a study carried like December, what we found in the campsites, it's that they identified, recorded 3,000 cases of violence against women, and 70% of those violence was sexual violence, for example. And so those women, they are being attacked in their communities, on the street, on public transportation, but even in the campsites, they are still facing high risk of exploitation, abuse, sexual violence, and of course, they are also the ones to bear the hunger crisis that we are also talking about in our survey. So it's particularly critical for women and girls. And now if we are like looking or taking consideration the girls, there's also the lack of access of education. Now the school are being attacked. You probably heard the news with like a student being killed or attacked within the school facilities. So it's a very hard situation, and we have seen also girls as 10 years old, being faced collective rape by gangs that are like attacking the communities in their homes. And also while they are trying to flee, they are also subjected to violence.
Good to talk to you on the programme today. Thank you very much for joining us. Angeline Annesteus, who's Country Director for ActionAid in Haiti, talking to us there from Port-au-Prince. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.